combat medic finds himself tying tourniquets on his own legs on a bloody battlefield.
Just telling myself, you don't want to die here. You do not want to die here.
His high school sweetheart gets a fearful call in the night.
I think deep down I just had a feeling that something bad was going to happen. But I mean, I knew that we were going to make it through it, and I knew I was sticking around.
How can they get back the lives they left so far behind in this small Minnesota town? On this edition of Operation Build, I'm Coming Home, we're going to show you how caring organizations and people came together to create a dream come true. This is the story of Thomas Scott. I'm Alexi. I love working as a model and TV host, but when I'm not here on set, I live a completely different life. We are turning extreme situations into extraordinary results. Our mission is to innovate, renovate, and elevate the lives of people in need. This is Operation Build. In the war zones of Iraq and Afghanistan, Thomas Scott's job was combat medic, rushing to wounded comrades time and again, providing urgent, life-saving care. Then one day, in a brutal, heart-stopping flash, he was the man calling for help. Thomas Scott grew up in sleepy Burnsville, Minnesota. He and his longtime girlfriend, Brittany, met each other here and went to high school together. Thomas joined the military because he wanted to see the world and also to study medicine. After basic training, he was quickly deployed to Iraq and then Afghanistan as corpsman. Then came that fateful day his patrol unit was rolling back towards friendly lines. They were continually on nerve-wracking lookout for improvised explosive devices, or IEDs, buried along the trails.
And as we're rolling in, I just heard and felt this big blast that lifted my vehicle up. It was just kind of like just dust and cloud and everything. And I was just like, oh my God, I think we may have just gotten blown up really bad. I had to tend to myself. I'm like, if you think too long about it, it could be too late. So I just snapped into it and like put tourniquets on both of my legs. And I was just like trying to do as much as I could to preserve my own life. That was basically that moment. And then I remember laying there in like one of the worst pains I've ever experienced in my life before, just telling myself, you don't want to die here. You do not want to die here.
As it turned out, both of his legs were severely damaged, and one had to be amputated below the knee.
It used to really make me tear up and like really depressed every time I went and saw my orthopedic surgeon, because he just told me like, well, you don't have that many options here, Thomas. You could either stick with the leg that you already have that's been that's been put back together, been salvaged, or you could get it amputated, which will relieve a lot of pain for you. You won't have to ever think about it again.
The first time he spoke to his then girlfriend, Brittany, he told her she didn't have to stay with him.
I just said I was, they think my foot's gone on my right side. They don't know what they could do with my left leg or so. It's I think this is gonna be a really tough journey, and you know what I mean. Please let me know if this is gonna be too much for you. Like, I don't expect you to go through this with me. This is my decision. And she just bursted out in tears and like, who do you take me for? And like, she's like, I'll be there for you.
I'm just glad he was alive, Mm-hmm. And I was in college, so I was still trying to figure out, how I was going to go to my classes, and I was going to go see him, and how to balance everything. But I knew he was worth it, and he'd do the same thing for me if he could. And
they were married shortly after in a VA hospital chapel. Rehabilitation was a difficult and frustrating ordeal. It seemed to take forever for Thomas's leg to heal enough so that he could wear a brace and walk normally. Soon after the injury, Thomas applied to get a new house for him and his new wife. And what a homecoming it's gonna be. A few miles away, in the tiny community of Lonsdale, a brand new home awaits them. We're going to fill it up with beautiful things, as you'll see coming up. Since 9/11, more than 1,700 veterans have returned home with life-altering injuries. Lonsdale, Minnesota makes Burnsville look like the big city. But this cozy bedroom community will be the future home of our deserving veteran Thomas Scott and his new wife. They've already seen this lovely house, given to them free and clear by the nonprofit organization Homes for Our Troops. Thomas and Brittany's new home is beautiful, but so far, empty. We're about to change that soon enough. And when they move in a few weeks, they're going to have a lot of valuables to protect. So one improvement we've got in mind is a Schlage keyless lock system. And Matheis is here to explain how it works. And I am so excited about this. When I heard that we were installing these, this is one of those items where, mental note, I'm putting these in my house. So tell me about what we're installing for Thomas and his wife.
Yes, so we are installing the Schlage touch system, which allows you keyless access into your home. So it holds up to 19 codes. You can have a different code for everyone in the family. It's battery operated, so you don't need to do any additional drilling or hook up wires. And there's a low battery indicator that tells you when it's time to change the battery. There's also no cylinder in this lock, so there's no keys to bump or pick, and so it's a huge security advantage when you install one of these locks.
That's great. So the one that we're installing for them is this one here, correct?
Right, so that's the deadbolt, and we'll put a decorative lever underneath.
Okay.
And then we also offer a lever by itself that has a code. So if you want to put that in a room that you want to keep the kids out of,
Sure.
or a wine cellar, or even an office building.
Yeah.
You can put it in that as well.
And then tell me about these two models as well.
Yes, so this is the Schlage Connect, which you can connect with your cell phone. If you have a home automation system, you can get alerts when people come and go. You can lock or unlock your door from anywhere. Wow. So it's a great access control for people who have a lot of guests coming and going, or they need to let house sitters in, or pet sitters and things like that.
Yeah, and I must imagine that someone who's disabled, if they're upstairs or they have a hard time getting around, they might be a little bit older, this could be a great way to let people in and out as well.
It is, and it also has an added addition of security to it, where there's an alarm built in the back of the door lock. So if someone tries to tamper with the door, the alarm goes off, and so you can hear the alarm and hopefully scare the intruders away. It also lights up, so at night it's great for you to be able to find your lock.
Yes, that's one thing. Even with my deadbolt, it's hard to find the key. Sometimes I can't even get in there, so that's great.
Right.
That is so cool. So easy to install, I heard you say that. So
Yes.
are we gonna do this?
We are, it's so easy.
Awesome. All right, let's get that started, and I can't wait to try this out.
Great,
Awesome.
thanks.
This touch system is super easy to install with just a screwdriver. I'm going to take a crack at this working with Ann. Well, that was easy. Now I'm looking forward to showing Thomas how this high-tech touch lock system works and seeing Brittany's reaction to these stylish satin nickel finished door handles. Well, I think you'll agree this was an incredible mission accomplished. Guys, we wish you the best of luck in your brand new home.
Thank you.
Until next time, I'm Alexi Matheis.